You're listening to the One Man Show Network. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast. I am your host, Aaron Weinbaum. Not a whole lot of the bells and whistles tonight. I am on the road, but I just want you to know that I think this will be the last ever Periscope broadcast ever. So if you're on Periscope tonight, find me on Haps TV. So Periscope is going away, and I'm going to type that in, and we're going to be on Haps from now on, as well as YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. So Periscope is going away. I'm going to go ahead and type that in real quick. So join me on Haps. And there we go. Perfect. And I'm just putting that into Twitter now. So thank you all very much. If you're here and you want to talk mixed martial arts, join me tonight on Haps. I would love that. Foamy Home is on. Thank you, buddy. If you were, of course, I would invite you on if you wanted to talk about any MMA past 2012, but you're still all about Anderson Silva, if I remember. So we're going to keep it on that as well. He's here for the mixed media arts. That's right. Mixed media arts. Did I say that? I might have said that. It's mixed martial arts if I said mixed media arts, but I didn't mean to. But anyway, before we get started in the UFC 260 recap and whatnot, we're going to just talk about tonight's sponsor, Manscaped. That is right, baby, Manscaped. Long time now sponsor of the podcast. I think it's been 6 or 7 weeks. So that's pretty cool that they've stuck with me that long. So I'm going to get through this ad read right quick, and then we're going to talk a little mixed martial arts, if it will. And I'm trying to find the link here. Yeah, here it is. Okay. And then we're going to get right into it. Like I said, I'm not in my normal studio, so things might be a little off today. I tried using my virtual cam. It wasn't working. And I'm using my iPhone's hotspot, so forgive me. Anyway, baseball will soon be upon us. Is there anything better than a fresh mowed grass at the ballpark on opening day? How about freshly groomed balls? Our Manscaped is the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, and they're here to help you strike out your bush for good. It's a whole new balls game, folks, at Manscaped. It's trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement. I'm telling you, these products are no joke. So easy to use, and I have all the confidence in the world with the best tools for the job at Manscaped. We've all had those bad grooming experiences. I, for one, have had some interesting nicks with the beard trimmer. That's not made to go down there. That's why Manscaped has a redesigned electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created, the Lawnmower 3.0. I have it. It's got a light. It can be used in the shower. So you're not going to hurt yourself. Foamy wants to know what he's listening to. Wow. That's why their ceramic blade and advanced skin-safe technology, your snags will be reduced with a close shave. The Lawnmower 3.0 is simply the best hygiene tool for the modern man. The Perfect Package 3.0 also comes with the Crop Preserver, which is a ball deodorant, and the spray toner. It's like a spritz for your balls in the middle of the day. Manscaped even threw in their shed travel bag to keep all your goodies stored comfortably. The Manscaped anti-chafing boxer briefs are also included. How about that? So talk about the ultimate utility, man. Manscaped is like the Yadier Molina of ball trimmers. So get 20% off plus free shipping with the code MMAFP at manscaped.com. Hit the balls out of the park this season with Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0. Take care of your favorite baseballs. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code MMAFP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using promo code MMAFP. Baseball's back. Don't let your pubes get out of whack. Ha. So Foamy says this went south real fast. Hey, you're right. It does go south. See what I did there? Very good, Foamy. Thanks for that segue there. All right. Foamy homie, if you don't know, he is also one of the main men here at Haps, and I appreciate you, jokes or not. So let's talk about this weekend. Let's recap just a little bit here. A few fights that happened at UFC 260. Excuse me. First of all, let's talk Sean O'Malley beating Thomas Almeida via third-round knockout. Almeida he's a scrappy guy, but he hadn't won in several fights. And basically, if he didn't win this fight, O'Malley, that is, he would have been knocked way down. Almeida was brought in. He's a scrappy guy, but he wasn't ranked either. And I want to say that basically, this was O'Malley's fight to win, and he did it in impressive fashion. Almeida had him rocked a couple of times. O'Malley in that first round knocked him down and thought it was a knockout, walked off. That almost cost him in the end. But O'Malley won that fight, and now he might be getting a big fight, possibly Dominic Cruz, former bantamweight champion. So I'll definitely watch that fight for sure. So why not? This one was tough to watch. This next one, Vicente Luque defeating Tyron Woodley via first round Darce choke. Woodley, he started out strong, kind of firing, got a little reckless there, but that's how it is, and that's how he needed to fight. He, of course, coming off several losses in a row, starting with the champ Carmelo Usman, then Gilbert Burns, and then Colby Covington. So, he got rocked. Like a couple times, he looked like a drunk guy trying to find the stairs, and then he got choked in that first round. So that was hard to see. I don't know where Tyron goes from here. I hope he fights again, but I kind of hope he doesn't either. But if he does fight again, I hope his mind's right. And, I would like to see him. I'd like to see him get back to where he was, but I don't know that that's going to happen, unfortunately. So there it is. And then, of course, the main event, I picked this wrong. A lot of people picked this wrong. I picked underdog Stipe Miocic just because this was another heavyweight championship fight from a few years back where he fought Francis Ngannou, and he handled Francis for 5 rounds. He really just beat him up. And, that first round, he didn't get him taken down. Francis sprawled. Stipe felt the weight on top of him. Stipe coming in, way lighter than the last time. He was, 240s, like the upper 240s is like 230 something. And there it is. He just got outclassed and got a little too cocky in the second round when he rocked Francis, came running at him, and Francis just clocked him, knocked him out silly. His leg got bent behind him, and that was it. So there you go. For those of you that are joining the broadcast, feel free to share it, whatever platform you're on. I would certainly would appreciate that. And join the fun here at Haps. I should have left my links just about everywhere I'm broadcasting. This is, like I said, if I am on Periscope, this will be my last one as Periscope is going away. So that being said, that's where the majority of my viewers are, the majority of my interaction. If you are on Periscope tonight, feel free to comment for what may be the last time. But more importantly, join me over at Haps. That's at Aaron Weinbaum. Research for Aaron Weinbaum at Haps if you can't find me that way, or just use the link that is in there. Yes, Foamy says he's here for the segues. I appreciate that, buddy. If you for real want to talk about MMA, I certainly would I certainly would invite you. But you can see all these comments here at haps.tv, and they should be presenting on my screen as well. So sorry I don't have the fancy camera I normally do, but it is what it is. Now, what is next in the heavyweight division? Stipe losing the second fight against Francis in dramatic fashion. Big knockout. He's not going to be out for a while. I know he can't even train for 2 months. And I'm going to assume they're going to want to turn around Francis pretty quickly. So let's take a look at the choices. Yes, a choice, of course, would be Stipe. Hasn't lost to anyone in the last few years that aren't named Daniel Cormier or Stipe Miocic. Got beat by Cormier once, knocked out, and then comes back, beats him that second time, knockout in the fourth round, and then goes to a decision the next time they fought. So, the first time they fought, gosh, it was way back in 2018. So that's July 2018, comes back and fights him August 2019, and then again August 2020. So he hasn't trained for anyone basically since 2018 that aren't Francis Ngannou or Daniel Cormier. So how about that? Another fight that is possible is John Jones. Let's take a look at John. John, some very, very close fights at light heavyweight before deciding to move to heavyweight. Now, keep in mind that John has not fought at heavyweight yet. He's putting on the weight. He's trying to do it the right way. But split decision win against Thiago Santos, same thing about Dominic Reyes. And many people think he lost those 2 fights. So there's that. What else? A rematch possibly for Francis against Derek Lewis. That first fight, not too exciting. Nobody wanted to see that again for a long time. But all of a sudden, people are up for it again. Derek kind of on a streak here. Hasn't lost since Junior Dos Santos back in 2019. That would be almost 2 years ago. Crazy. So he had 2 losses, once against the championship when Daniel Cormier was the champion back in 2018, then comes back, loses again to Junior. Then all of a sudden, split decision against Blagoy Ivanov, decision win against Ilar Latifi, knocks out Aleksei Olenek, and then comes back and just starches Curtis Blades, who I thought was going to win that fight, essentially taking Curtis Blades out of the title contention for quite a while. I don't know. He's certainly not up for Francis next because Francis has already beaten him twice. So very interesting there. And then what's next for Stipe? Gosh, Stipe, on the other hand, has a lot of options, whereas Francis is going to fight the tops of the tops. Ryan Richardson, hello from Kansas City. Hello to you too. If you know anything about MMA, I'd love to have you on to talk about this. If not, we'll catch you on another broadcast. So let's take a look here. What's next for Stipe? So Stipe possibly could fight Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades, like I said, just lost against Derek Lewis, was on a tear, beating Alexander Volkov, Junior Dos Santos, Shamil, Justin Willis. His last loss was Francis Ngannou. He's only lost to Francis twice and then Derek Lewis. Isn't that a very, very strong record? And I thought if he would have beaten Derek Lewis, he would have certainly been back in title contention. But alas, he didn't do it. He didn't do that. Chris Haas, what's up, buddy? Good to see you from Twitter. Very good. So thank you for watching, Chris. If you want to talk MMA, head on over to Haps and I can bring you on in. But good to see you, Chris. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think you follow I think you're on my Not Coker account too. So for anyone that doesn't know, I do a few MMA parody accounts for fun. I Quinta Realty, not Coker, and of course the old school Dana Unleashed. So how about that? What else could happen for Stipe? Stipe beating Curtis puts him right back there. Stipe could probably fight Francis and get right back there too. Another choice for Stipe, he might retire. I don't know. I mean, what else has he got to prove? He's defended more than any other light heavyweight champion successfully. And, he had quite a nice title reign. Would he want to go in there against Francis again and, sew up that trilogy? I don't know. I mean, what else has he got to prove? He's getting a little bit up there. He's certainly getting leaner. It may be harder for him to keep that weight on, that heavy weight on. So who knows? It's kind of crazy. What else could be next here? He could come back and fight a Derek Lewis again. A win over Derek puts him right there. What if John Jones doesn't want to fight Stipe, doesn't want to fight Francis right off? A good fight, again, a more winnable fight for John would be Stipe. And, of course, it could be a more winnable fight for Stipe as well, beating John Jones. So, there's that as well. So I don't know. Of course, there's no UFC this weekend. There's no fights to pick. So if you want to join the fun, now is the time to do it. What else? Who else could he fight? Curtis Blades. I mentioned that. Oh, Cyril Gahn. Let's take a look at Gahn's record here all of a sudden, because he's all of a sudden he's an up-and-comer. Kind of a snoozer against Jairzinho Rosenstrike, but those are two heavy strikers that were being careful. Of course, he elbowed Junior Dos Santos. Junior Dos Santos swears it was a hit in the back of the head. Round 2. Beats Tanner Bozer. Beats Don'Tale Mayes. Rafael Pessoa. Roger Sousa. So Gahn is another one. Any of these guys Stipe fights, nobody would dare question that he doesn't get the next shot. And nobody questions he doesn't get the shot anyway. It just depends, honestly, on how badly they want to make the Francis Ngannou-John Jones fight. But John Jones seems to be holding out for some money. I don't know if I blame him, honestly. So, we'll see there. We'll see. So, there's not a whole lot more I have to say about any of that. I certainly wouldn't be hurt if Stipe did decide to retire. I totally understand that. It's just one of those things, man. He's had a great career. Is he going to want to go out on a loss? And another reason he might take one of these other fights besides Francis is to go out on a win. I think he wins against Curtis Blades. I think he wins against anyone, possibly a Derek Lewis too, because he has shown some weakness in his wrestling before. He seems to be shoring that up just a little bit. I think he beats Cyril Gahn for sure. But Francis, beating him again a second time after the beating he just took, it may be a tall order and it may be a long recovery for Stipe. So he may have to do something, because they'll probably plan a Francis Derek Lewis or a Francis John Jones sooner rather than later. Chris Haas wants to see John Jones get the money. Pay him the money. Pay that man his money. I don't know if I disagree, but John's just kind of a troublemaker there. So, yes. And that's a bit of a short MMA Fight Picks podcast. There's really no fights to pick. I'm just picking fights I would like to see. So, again, what's next for Francis? What's next for Stipe? It could be anyone's guess. It's a trilogy, or either one of them has a handful of people. I think, again, for Francis, it's either Stipe, Miocic, John Jones, or Derek Lewis. But for Stipe, some fights that make sense are Curtis Blades, Derek Lewis, John Jones, Cyril Gahn, or, of course, the Francis trilogy. Maybe even an Alexander Volkanovski. They're both kind of tall, lanky guys. Let's take a look at Alexander Volkanovski here real quick and see. Let me pull up his record. Alexander, I got to write that down so I remember that, because I hadn't really considered it. Let's just take a look at his record here. Alexander. There it is. Alexander the Great Volkanovski. Let's take a look at his record just real quick here. I'm on Tapology. That is my choice. Thanks to my man James Lynch, who told me that was more reliable than Wikipedia, and it certainly is. Oh, not Volkanovski. God dang it. Volkov. Alexander Volkanovski is, sorry. Ali. Lord. Alexander Drago Volkov. Volkanovski, of course, is the 145-pound champion, so my bad on that one. I messed it up. Volkanovski, 2 wins in a row. Alistair Overeem sent him out of the UFC. Walt Harris, he lost to Curtis Blades. It was a decision, a win over Greg Hardy. And, of course, he gets starched by Derek Lewis back in 2018 with 11 seconds left in round 3, where Derek Lewis basically played possum and just starched him. I remember that fight. But he's got some notable wins over Fabricio Verdum, Stefan Struve, Roy Nelson. So really his last loss against Curtis Blades was his lack of wrestling. So Stipe has a really good chance in that fight as well. So certainly he could go out on that as well. Chris Haas says, make good trouble. I don't know what you mean by that, buddy. But if you care to elaborate. But anyway, so if nobody's going to join me here on Haps tonight, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end it. And I appreciate y'all listening. If you're on Periscope, golly, it's emotional. I've had so many fans throughout the years on Periscope, and it's really been a blessing for me. It's kind of, I'm gonna have to rebuild a little bit because that's where most of my fan base was. So please come on over to Haps if you haven't already. Even if you're on Facebook, that's the best way. You can join me live. You can talk. You don't have to have a great connection. I mean, you have to have a decent connection and a little bit of a quiet place so I can hear what you're saying. But yeah, that's it. So until next time, we're going to pick some fights again next week. So shalom.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.